Okay, this week we're going to be, well, I'm so used to saying this week because of the litter box. Today we're going to be talking about capitalism, and we're going to have ContraPoints doing it with us because I'm going to respond to her video because I'm so sick and tired of having to listen to her bullshit and his bullshit because it's a he, like ContraPoints is a dude, and I can't take it anymore. Like I am fed up with the lies and bullshit that he's been spewing. And I watched the entire video twice, both of his videos on capitalism. So I'm going to debunk his first video right now. That golden pizza would taste amazing. For those of you who are uninitiated in the watching ContraPoints BS, the video before this was about a golden pizza. And you're probably thinking, what do you mean a golden pizza? Well, it was a comparison about Worth It, the BuzzFeed show. And on that show, they were talking about how a $2 slice of pizza versus a $2,000 pizza. So I'm going to her arguments are so dumb. His arguments, this is why trans people are annoying, because you know what you are. Let's not play games here. So ContraPoints says that, this $2,000 piece of pizza must suck because I've never had everything on that pizza, and the flavors probably don't even go together, and it's not worth it because, it's, you could do lots of stuff with that, and then on top of that, you feel guilty after having... No, you don't feel guilty, because when you've had something that's absolutely amazing, you feel great, because I hate to break it to you, truffles taste amazing. They taste transcendent. Foie gras is amazing. It's breathtaking. It's black ink that they use in the dough, the squid ink, that it's whatever. I mean, I've had it before. It's nothing special. I haven't tried the cheese, and I've never had gold that you eat because gold is inert. And I hate to break it to you, gold doesn't taste like anything. It just makes things pretty. So it serves the same function that it does on, anything we cover in gold. So that's all the points that ContraPoints made in her first video, and she was like, I'm going to be going back and forth in this video because I'm annoyed. So then they're like, oh, well, this clearly is like too much for a piece of pizza. No, the market decides what's too much. And if you don't like that, give me a better, solution. And it's not just stupid ideas. That's the TLDR. Let's watch some of the Capitalism Part 2, because I found this to be more substantive and less stupid. Because, yeah.
What did all these people die for? Well, for freedom, I guess. And American values. But what are those values? What kind of freedom is it that we have?
And I sighed because I have to watch this in, normal speed. And watching things in normal speed hurts my soul. Especially when I have to listen to this person in normal speed.
The 9/11 Memorial shares the World Trade Center site with the largest shopping mall in Manhattan. There's a Forever 21, an Under Armour, a Kate Spade, and a pair of shoes that I want, but they're too expensive and my feet are too big and I'm too tall to wear high heels anyway.
Almost because you're a man and they're not made for you.
Fucking neoliberalism?
Oh, and she has been referring to capitalists as lizards this whole time because, it can't be that they just worked hard. It has to be that, they're lizards.
What even goes on in these big buildings? I've been looking at them all my life, but I've never been inside one. Are these the towers where the ruling lizards gather? Drinking human blood? Licking whipped cream?
If you're Bill Clinton.
Off the interns? What the hell even is this country? Just the same terrible shit copy-pasted all over the goddamn place. Longhorn Steakhouse, Golden Corral, Staples, The Red Lobster, PetSmart, Chipotle, Fridays, Dave & Buster's.
I'll give you a pro tip. If you don't like these places, don't shop there. Voila. If you don't shop there, they won't make money. And if they don't make money, then they won't keep going. But if people want to shop there, who the fuck are you to tell them not to, you entitled jackass?
I guess it's not so bad, as long as you kick things up a notch. Yes, I want to add the lava cakes to my order, Domino's. Of course I want the fucking lava cakes.
Okay, we're going to skip a little bit because this part annoys me. Okay, there we go.
And a lot of people have that feeling. But the problem with vague feelings, feeling that political dissent begins with the vaguest feeling that something is wrong, and a lot of people have that feeling. But the problem with vague feelings is they can be channeled in any direction.
Or that they don't mean anything because they're feelings and we're humans and they're just a bunch of stupid chemicals that don't matter.
Same vague angst can drive people to communism or fascism or
Because communism and fascism are two sides of the same coin.
anything in between.
I prefer capitalism where I can spend that coin.
There's a general sense today among young people that we have been lied to, and that sense is perhaps the most acute among middle-class white men, who apparently were promised that they could be millionaires, or movie gods, or rock stars. The term special snowflake is used today as a slur against queer teenagers, but it comes from the movie Fight Club, where it refers to a generation of white guys who have become adults only to find that they're worse off than their fathers, that they don't have glamorous jobs, they don't have girlfriends, and more recently, that even in the escapist world of video games, their absolute sovereignty is being challenged.
Depression Quest. Did you just put Depression Quest there? It's a slideshow with buttons. Let's not even pretend that's a video game. Like, what are you doing, bitch? And on top of that, guess what? Video games are pretty meritocratic at the moment because, you know, gamers don't want to throw money at things that are crappy, you know, by and large. So when you're dealing with, you know, idiots, it's... Okay. Let me calm down a bit. Calm down. Okay. Video games are genuinely pretty meritocratic at the moment. If a game is good, has good graphics, good storyline, it will usually sell a bunch. Look at Kingdom Come Deliverance. It even had one of your little SJW blow-ups because, oh, there's no black people in, you know, old Romania 2,000 years ago before there was even any slaves there? No shit, Sherlock. Oh, must be racist. And everybody was like, nah, it's not racist. But of course the game's media, who is literally full of crap, was like, Wee! And the consumer was like, nah, we're not falling for it. And then they were like, oh, well, it's a really good game, actually. You know, this doesn't really matter. See?
I've devoted half my channel to chronicling the deranged consequences of this situation. Anti-feminism, alpha males, pickup artists, the surreal surge in support for a white ethnic homeland. But till now, I haven't talked about the underlying causes, and it's important to do that.
The underlying causes. I will tell you what the underlying causes are right now. It is people trying to tell other people what they can and cannot do, and then ascribing, you know, racist / sexist / homophobic, you know, emotions to the justified reaction, which is, why are you trying to tell me what to do? And who are you? And why should I care?
Because the thing is, the white men aren't even wrong that society is screwing them in some way.
Yeah, diversity quotas are racist, regardless of who they're for or against, just like how Chinese people are being screwed, and anti-Chinese diversity quotas from places like Harvard are racist too. I agree with you, ContraPoints.
It's just that it's screwing everyone else even more.
Oh, okay.
So the masculinist alt-right analysis of society is exactly upside down. Guys, you are not under the thumb of a Jewish feminist plot to turn you into girly soy boy cucks. Cultural Marxism did not turn you into placid IKEA consumers. Capitalism did. So what you need to
No, capitalism... Oh my god. No, it didn't, but...
do is stop scapegoating non-whites, feminists, and trans people and unite with the rest of us to actually do something about the real enemy.
Tear down the bourgeoisie! Have an October Revolution! Put Stalin in charge! Let's do it! Oh, we already did that. Let's keep going.
The blood-sucking, goddamn reptiles. Oh god, I sound like a philosopher.
A nation based on freedom is just another place to go shopping.
Wow. I don't find an issue with that, though. Allowing people to, you know, decide their own motivations isn't a bad thing. I really don't understand what people's issue with allowing the market to decide things is.
Leftist could easily have said that. We think of leftist analysis as being very materialistic, but there's a spiritual dimension to it too. Much of Karl Marx's early writings are primarily concerned with the state of the human soul under capitalism, with the alienation of working not for yourself, but for an employer who appropriates the value of your work.
But you don't need to do that. That's the whole point of capitalism, you stupid whore, is that if you don't like working there, you can work for yourself and try to put your time and effort and energy into something and then try to sell it to other people. Capitalism. You can put forward your value to others and let them judge it on its merits. And if they don't want it, you can starve. That's the point. This employer is giving you a service by keeping you alive, by allowing you to do a job that he feels, is a misappropriation of his value or her value, and allowing you to do it because the amount of money that he or she pays you to do it is less than the amount of money that would be taken up by him using his time to do that job, because their time is worth more than your time. That is what it boils down to. And you are accepting that contract when you work for them.
With the fetishism of commodities, the investment of inanimate objects with transcendent properties beyond their usefulness, with the system of lies and delusions by which capitalism understands and justifies itself, with fucking Comcast increasing my bill to $70 a month for no fucking reason. No, I don't want a landline. No one under the age of 60 wants a landline. Of course, it's not just Marxists who complain about a capitalist malaise. Fascists and conservatives notice it too, only they think the solution is to seek collective meaning in ancient customs, racial chauvinism, or fight clubs. And that shit's not really my scene. I'm really more of a pursuit of individual happiness person.
Wow, great.
But I think that capitalism as we know it is pretty bad at fostering individual happiness. And here's why. Chapter 2. Alienated labor. This Marxist jargon sucks. Shitty. Well, probably it's because you work at the Comcast customer service call center and you spend your day dealing with whiny, entitled.
Okay, so I'm going to skip over this part most likely because I've already addressed it. If you cannot take your value and apply it to something like, if you can't take your skills and labor, make something with that or provide a service with that and sell that service or good to someone else, then you should be thanking the Comcast call service for not firing you and finding another person. That's the TLDR. You have no right to other people's time or energy or effort or labor. You are not born with an inherent right to anything. And besides speech, you can do that without, other people. What is not within you is not your right.
For Uber, they won't even be honest about the fact that you're their employee. They'll call you an independent
a neoliberal tanky.
The purpose of advertising is to manufacture desires, which brands across the world spend nearly $500 billion a year doing. The ubiquity and apparent effectiveness of advertising seems to contradict one of the fundamental assumptions of capitalist society, namely that we're all autonomous individuals making rational choices in pursuit of our own well-being. Advertising uses a lot of rhetorical...
But it doesn't. It means that some people want to give that up because they like seeing shiny things. And that's okay, because that's their decision.
Strategies that are not very rational. For instance, randomly correlate...
Yeah, this doesn't matter though, because I'm not going to buy this car because a random chick is here. People can make their own decisions. Once again, this is just people making the decision about what they want to see on a poster.
Relating the product with sexual desire. Generating new...
Once again, people making a decision based on what they see. And you can ignore this, though. That's the thing. You can ignore this.
Insecurities the product promises to alleviate. Associating the product...
I don't even know what this junk is. But once again, you can ignore this.
With social status. Associating the product with...
Once again, you can ignore this.
Random famous people. Associating the product...
Once again, you can ignore this. You are an individual. Do what you wish.
With degenerate decadence. Associating the...
Once again, you're an individual. And screw this ad campaign.
Product with progressive social movements. Associating the product with communist...
Once again, you're an individual. Ignore this.
revolution. Gazing longingly at dreamy Argentinian philosophy
Once again, you're an individual. Do whatever you want. I'm past telling you to ignore it.
professors. Join the clone.
Once again, you're an individual. You don't need to wear this if you don't want to, but you can if you want to. It's not my job to tell you what you want or you don't want.
Army. Completely original lighting. Gay orgies. Love cannot survive without diamonds. Is this rational?
Once again, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me.
Does it help people make genuine decisions about their own best interests? Of course not. The goal of advertising is not to satisfy the pre-existing needs that people have. It's to endlessly create new needs. And that
Almost like the advertisers are creating value, and then, the brands are paying them money to advertise their products. Almost like if the individuals didn't really want to see these ads for some reason, they wouldn't sway their opinion, and then, they wouldn't buy the products. Like, when I see an ad for Nike with Colin Kaepernick there, I don't buy the shoes, not because I give a crap about Colin Kaepernick, but because I'm not really interested in Nike shoes to begin with. See? It's like you can use your brain, and that if you don't want to use your brain, that's not these brands' fault. It's your fault. It's not mine.
That's a lot to keep up with, and it takes a lot of stamina, which is why it's a good thing I discovered Vitalimax Plus. Supporax. We hit a couple amyls, then I Vitalimax. Venting feels
Skip.
contributes to your well-being in any way. So what we have is a society built not around meeting basic human needs or maximizing human happiness, but around the extravagant profits of powerful reptiles who tell you what to want and then sell it to you. And this would be a grim state.
Almost like you can make your own decisions, you stupid bitch. I'm so done with this video for so many different reasons. It assumes that everyone is this groveling idiot snail, and it assumes that everyone cannot make their own decisions, and it assumes that this retard, for some reason, doesn't give you a solid reason for why they're right, but they just are. Like,
State of affairs in any
trust them.
Circumstances, but it's especially egregious in a country where many of the basic needs are not met. On the one hand, we have 40 million people living in this country with medical debt,
and they're alive because of that medical debt, most likely.
Spiraling tuition costs leading college students to take out loans they may never escape.
Almost like the government getting into the we need to give people money to go to college business was a bad idea.
More than 500,000 homeless people and 13 million children who have to go to school hungry. And on the other hand, we apparently have the resources to mass produce $400 juice pack.
I'm pretty sure that failed. I'm 99% sure. Yeah, I'm 99.9% sure that company failed, and there was like a lawsuit involved.
Squeezing machines and $300 luxury ice cubes.
For the record, I've used that style of ice cube, not those in particular, but the round ice cubes are really nice. They are. They feel good on your tongue.
And there were apparently Americans who are willing to spend $50 million on Barnett Newman paintings. I mean, it's a fine painting. It's got a lot of great red.
Once again, I mean, this isn't my style either, but if someone wants to spend money on it, go ahead.
On it, but is it really worth the cost of feeding every homeless person in America for 2 weeks? Is this what an efficient economy looks like? If GDP is your only measure of efficiency, then maybe, but shouldn't the economy serve humanity rather than the other way around?
You're assuming that the economy has like a thought process or a brain. I think that the market is pretty, non-existent so far as like a physical embodiment of it. I mean, if I had to pick a physical embodiment of the economy, it would probably be like Kim Kardashian or someone who's like sold their soul for, money. Or I'd pick like Jeff Bezos. It would have to be someone who's successful on one hand, but also highly questionable on the other. Who'd like violate. I mean, it could go either way, honestly, because I do look up to Jeff Bezos in one respect, but on the other hand, I also look up to Kim Kardashian for playing the system in another respect, but I also think she's a stupid whore. So, it's interesting, but I don't think that economic planning has ever worked, so there's that.
millions of people are struggling under the weight of student debt, underemployment, and outrageous medical.
No one told them to get student debt. No one, well, people did tell you to go to college, but no one forced them to go to college. No one forced people to go to the doctor. If you didn't want to go to the doctor, you didn't have to. You could have just died, but you chose to use the doctor's services. So then they charged you for those services because you agreed to that.
Costs, then who gives a shit how many golden donuts we can produce?
What do I do with the gold on my fingers?
Canto 4, Message to the Rich. Alright, you filthy goddamn reptiles, listen up. I have a pretty good barometer for internet politics, which is to say, politics. I mean, what I'm picking up at the rich. And you don't just have to trust my intuitions here. Recent polling data shows that a majority of adults under the age of 30 do not support.
Guess what? Millennials are worthless for the most part. There we go. Solved it. I doubt that a millennial could change. How many millennials does it take to change a light bulb? Here, I'll make this one up on the spot. You need about 300 people. They need to dress up in black, and then one guy needs to throw a rock at the light bulb. There we go. Because they can't do anything.
Support capitalism, and almost a third support socialism. This is not the 80s anymore.
Good. They can go do socialism themselves somewhere. I'm sure that they could all starve together on an island if they wanted to. I don't get why they're like, oh yeah, you rich person, you owe me your money now. And the rich person's like, bitch, what? I never got that. Why you're like, you owe me because you're profiting off a structure that, has taken my value from me. Bitch, what? You're alive and you grew up in a hospital and you were born in a time when none of this shit that would have killed you 200 years ago has, killed you to the point where your parents don't have 8 kids anymore to make sure that 1 or 2 of them live. Now they just have 2 and usually they both live.
You can't continue to get richer and richer while the rest of the country is underemployed, in debt, and unable to afford health care.
But the real question is that the rich's fault? Or is that the fault of the government? Is that the fault of the government for doing things like creating welfare, creating, oppressive tax regimes, creating what else? Oppressive tax regimes, keeping black people from going to whatever school they want with school vouchers, creating a public school system, which is a failure on so many different fronts. I'm in college at the moment, and oh my God, the number of people that need remedial classes is terrifying. Think about this. You're getting to college, and it's either one of 2 things is what this boils down to. The number of people that are in remedial classes is staggering. Everyone who is my age, there are people who are my age, and I'm 20 years old because I chose to wait a while to go to college. So there's people who are 20 years old who are in remedial classes. And then you're telling me that, they went to public school and, public school, you need to go to it. Why did they go to public school? They could have just, not done anything for 20 years, gone to college, taken the remedial classes, and then bam, now they're ready for college. Why do we chain these kids up in a room for God only knows how long? It's either A, our public school system is a sham and completely superfluous and a waste of time, or B, colleges are charging for things that you don't need. Either one is disgusting.
What you're doing has been tried before, and it doesn't end well. You can't just stroll around town dressed like this and live in houses like this when there are millions of peasants who don't have enough to eat. They will eventually try to cut your head.
Okay, here's something for you. Most of the peasants, as you're calling them in America, are fat. Really fat. You want to know why? Because we have such a friggin' overabundance of everything that we can't, make heads or tails of what to do with it. So if the rich want to, dress however they want, which it's a really poor representation. The rich mostly dress in suits and ties these days, and they probably live in New York, because New York is great if you're rich.
Heads off. And judging by the mood I'm picking up on social media...
Or they're leftists writing for the New York Times or, some other, or CNN or some BS like that, while they're telling you, go ahead, become a socialist. I'll just sit here and, type out on my Apple laptop with my Starbucks coffee and What else? My Louis Vuitton bag. Yeah, great. Great, you socialist piece of garbage. Lying capitalist. I see you.
Media right now, if you don't fix some shit and make life better for the masses, they are gonna
Life is better for the masses. It's better for the majority of mankind, is better off than it has ever been in the history of mankind. So just shove it up your rear. Actually don't, because you might try it.
cut your fucking heads off. I mean, they won't actually cut your heads off, but they will try, and you'll have to deploy militarized police, and you will crush them ruthlessly, but it's gonna be a whole thing, bad for profits, and just all around a real inconvenience for you. Nosy humanitarians will butt their heads in, and they're gonna make things awkward. The point is, shit.
What nosy humanitarians, you dumb bitch? You're talking about America. What, are the Saudis gonna poke their heads in while they're gonna like take a pause from generally mutilating women and be like, hey, Americans, stop, why am I doing a Russian accent? Hey, Americans, stopping that thing going on. Well, what? Shut the fuck up. I am so tired of this bullshit. It's such a load of propaganda and shit. Like, take some responsibility for your life. Like, you seem to be doing pretty well pumping out this garbage, and that's good for you. I admire it. You know, I admire that you're able to feed people shit and they'll eat it and thank you for it. So good job.
Shit cannot continue the way it's going. Something is gonna have to change. And we can do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is up to you.
Skip.
We do.
Skip.
10. Okay, yeah, revolution. I mean, you're right. Donald Trump is president. Fuck it. Revolution. We've got to get better people in office. We've got to vote in a whole different kind of politician, right? No, revolution. Yes, I know revolution, but what kind of revolution? Like Project Mayhem, gather your muskets, ye like a general strike?
Good job. Good. Try to gather your muskets while gun control's going on, buddy.
Strike? No, end capitalism. Tabby, I'm not trying to say I have all the answers here because I'm saying the word revolution. Like, I think these kinds of movements can generate a lot of and we come close to ending capitalism in the US. So why do you think that will work? What's to stop whoever you elect from getting absorbed by the same corrupt, finance-backed system that every politician eventually has to swear allegiance to? Well, you're not entirely wrong. But on the other hand, Chinese and Soviet communism were not exactly super great. And in any case, I'm having a little bit of
Super great. Super great. Yeah, not like they're some of the worst things to ever touch humanity, but not super great.
trouble imagining a 1917-style revolutionary army marching down Pennsylvania Avenue in 2018. Shouldn't we focus on protecting abortion and getting affordable healthcare and education and ending mass incarceration?
Oh, okay. Here, I'll help you out with that. You want affordable healthcare? Get the government completely out of healthcare. Bam! It'll be affordable.
And other achievable goals? What if the 2020 election is postponed? Well, then I will transition into you and become you unironically. Why not just be honest about your political stance? Are you a democratic socialist, or would you actually support a revolution? Well, I prefer to just describe my positions and let others decide on the labels.
Now, for you, ContraPoints, I mean, you're still a heretic and an enemy of the Imperium, and you are a demonette of Slanesh and everything like that, but I still like you.
Well, what exactly are your positions? Well...
Kill everyone now! Condone first-degree murder! Advocate...
Eat reptiles? Why do you keep saying reptiles when you mean capitalists? Oh, because
she doesn't have any, it doesn't have any good arguments, so this is their way of interjecting their bullshit.
Bakunin. Have you read Plekhanov? Have you read Goldman? Gold? Wikipedia of long-winded Eastern Bloc. This isn't really working out. Wait, Tabby.
Okay, so that's the end of the video. The end of the useful things that are not useful, but the end of what is said that's of value to people who don't know anything about capitalism. So we're gonna go over some of capitalism's greatest hits here, because I feel like this idiot didn't really give a good showing to capitalism. And I'm a capitalist. I'm a big capitalist. I love capitalism because I think it's hands down the best system to get the most people out of poverty. And then on top of that, it rewards the people who do the most work the best. Now, at some point, this dumb bitch had said something about how, like, oh, people who work in sweatshops work really hard and they don't get paid much. Yeah, they don't, because what they're doing isn't really worth that much. Let's say it takes me 10 years to make a perfectly round ball bearing. If it takes a machine 5 seconds to make a perfectly round ball bearing, you know how much that time I invested into making a perfectly round ball bearing is worth? It's worth however much it takes the machine to make it, because the excess of time that I invested into that doesn't actually matter in the real world, because this is the private sector, bitch, and they expect results. So, if you like this video, just kill me now, because, oh my gosh, this was a slugfest. This is by far the worst thing that I've done in the last week, mostly because, oh god, I just dislike ContraPoints for so many reasons. Excuse me. I really feel like I'm dying here, listening to all that garbage. I've had a really tough time lately. So I'm in college at the moment, and I went into a math class, and the math class, I didn't like it because they tried to make me pay for DRM on the book. Like, I couldn't buy a used book, and that really pissed me off. So then I studied for about a day, and then I redid the math test, and I went from 66 to 105 on the score. Basically, I went from middle of the road to the top percentile, and then I was told that the next class that they would put me in wouldn't have the DRM on the book, and now it does, and I feel soul crushed, I'm not going to lie, because I worked hard to get out of something that would violate my principles, and now they're going to try to make me violate my principles again, and I don't really know what to do, because as much as I was able to, improve myself very rapidly that small amount of time, I don't know if I can do it again, and how far I'll be able to do it, and if they're just going to lie to me again. And it really hurts when you trust an institution and then they just bend you over again. And it's not even the institution, it's the government and everyone, and I just don't know what to do anymore, because people don't want to think, and they don't want you to think, and then they yell at you for thinking, and then they yell at you for not thinking, and it sucks. If you don't want to work, don't work, but then don't expect me to pay for you. And if I don't want to work, I don't expect you to pay for me. But don't tell me what to do. That's all I want. I don't want to be told what to do, and I don't want to tell anyone else what to do. I just want to be left alone. That's all. If I choose to make something that's absolutely incredible with my mind, that's mine. And if you want it, we can agree on a price. And if I don't want to sell it to you, then you can't have it. That's what it boils down to. And if I want to give it away to all the world, that's great. That's my decision. But don't expect me to just make your life better because I'm a human. No. No. It's so annoying. And it just assumes that everyone is owed something, and that's really gross. So yeah, this was longer than any of these have been because, well, I had to respond to that idiot. And this is probably going to get copyright strike because I used a lot of her video in this, his video, its video, whatever. And yeah, YouTube has a horrible system that doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't work well. So I hope that you've had a great time watching this. And yeah, my Twitter and Discord links are in the bio down below. Bye.